more some more on the scientific notation, since today our lesson was rushed a little bit. So over here on the left-hand side, I have the steps for you of how to move or how to change a number from standard form to scientific. These numbers right here are already written in standard form, which means just the numbers you would normally see or write. And we're going to change them to scientific. So the first step is moving from left to right. Draw a line after the first number between 1 and 9. So I'm moving from left to right. I'm going to look at my first number between 1 and 9, and that's 8. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a line there. Now I'm going to move the decimal to that line. I don't see a decimal, so that must mean it's at the very end right now. So I'm going to go ahead and move that decimal to the line. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I moved a total of 8 times. My next step is to remove all of the zeros. If it's a small number, then the zeros to the left. But the big number, this is a big number, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all of the zeros to the right. So my last step is to go ahead and write out the remaining number. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. It's 8.05, and then I'm going to multiply that by 10 to the power of the times that I moved my decimal. And I moved my decimal 8 times, so it's going to be to the power of 8. So my new number is 8.05 times 10 to the 8th. Now that is a big number. This number 2 example is a small number. It's very small. That's why all the zeros are in front of it. So I'm going to do the same exact steps. Moving from left to right, I am going to draw a line after the first number between 1 and 9. So I'm looking through here and all of these numbers are 0, so that doesn't work. 6 is my first number between 1 and 9, so I draw a line there. Now I'm going to move my decimal to that line. So I'm moving it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I moved that 7 times. And then next is I'm going to remove all the zeros. The small number, which this one is I'm going to move all the zeros that are to the left. So I'm going to remove all of these. And now my last step is to go ahead and write my remaining number. So the number I have now is 6.5 times 10 to the times that I moved my decimal, which is 7. But this is a small number. And remember from our notes, if it's a small number, it's a negative 7. Change that to exponents. So if it's a really big number, you have a positive exponent. If you have a small number, it is a negative exponent. And the other part of this video is going to be just how do I change it from scientific back to standard. So now I have all of these scientific numbers, and I need to change it. So if the number has a positive exponent, we're going to move the decimal to the right. So I'm going to go ahead and move, looks like there's a typo right here. Oh yeah, to the right, the number of the exponent, whatever the exponent is. So I see that on this one right here, my exponent is 5. So I am going to be moving this 5 times. So my number is 5.23. So 5.23 times 10 to the 5th. So I'm going to move that decimal 5 times to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when I have these blanks right here, I'm going to fill in these blanks with zeros. And now I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite that number. So now my number is 523 with 3 zeros on the end. I'm going to count back, make sure I put my comma after every third. So that would be that answer right here. I'll change that to the other color so you can see. So that's my answer. Now, if the number has a negative exponent, so on this one right here, it does have a negative exponent. It has a negative 5. I'm going to do the same thing, however, I am going to move the decimal to the left of the number of the exponent. So now I'm going to go ahead and type in 7.19. That's my number, and I need to move that 5 times to the left. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's my new decimals right there. And I'm going to fill in the blank with zeros. And now I can rewrite my number in standard form, 0.0000719. So that is how you change your numbers from standard to scientific and then scientific to standard. And hopefully this helped you out a little bit.